Have you heard stories, Bren, of what happened when we went to the... I've never been so hard-egoed in my life. Did you hear that interaction? Hey, Brent, do you hear this funny story? Bye. Just don't know all to the extreme. You ultra hard-egoed me just then.
Wait, what did you... I said I'd be right back quickly.
You took your headphones off just as I started speaking. So I was like, oh, did you hear the funny story? Okay, I'll be right back. And you just left. I was going to say, did you hear the stories of our trip to the Texas State Fair?
No, I didn't.
God damn, there was some absurd shit happening, bro.
Was it just KKONA W?
Even before we got there, man, we booked an Airbnb. And we had to do it last minute because everything was chaos heading in. We didn't know how many people were going or whatever. So the only Airbnb that didn't require you to have 48 hours notice was a 1-bedroom place with 2 sofa beds. And it was just in a bit of a sketchy neighborhood. Not a terribly sketchy neighborhood because it was surrounded by big, like, posh hotels. But it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. But it was a 1-bedroom place with Kurt and Wyatt asleep on tiny sofa beds, like less than 6 foot sofa beds, barely able to sleep at all. And at 5:30 a.m., they just heard some shouting outside the Airbnb, and this woman who was cracked out on who knows what was just screaming, just absolutely hooting and hollering, and they were just they were asleep and just wondering what was going on. And then she knocked on the door. She pounded on the front door of this Airbnb. And I was in bed, and I heard this, and I woke up, and I was like, what the fuck is going on out there? I'm sure Kurt and Wyatt have got it, because they were sleeping in the hallway, like in the entry area. So I go back to sleep. About 6 minutes later, I hear the door open. Kurt and Wyatt said this woman, after banging on the door multiple times, just decided to open the door, and they'd forgotten to lock the door properly. So there was a latch on the door that only allowed it to open about 5 or 6 inches, but the woman opened it and like pushed her head into the little crack in the door that was like 5 or 6 inches open.
Sleeping.
Well, they weren't sleeping at that point. They were awake. And I mean, Kurt just got up and slowly closed the door in her face.
Petrifying.
Yeah, I know.
What the fuck?
Just unbelievably cursed Airbnb.
Holy shit.
Kurt at one point couldn't sleep as well. So he got his car and drove it to a quiet, dark area and just tried to sleep in the car and just ended up getting too hot. Anyway, we go to the state fair the next day after thinking about what a mental night that was. And one of the first things we watched was pig racing.
Pig racing?
There's a guy in a getup doing the microphone, doing the MC, and he's got a real Texas voice. I can barely hear what he's saying, but they're talking about the pigs, and they come around the corner, and holy moly. And these tiny little pigs, it was really cute, and they were clearly well looked after, and they were just getting given treats at the end and stuff. They were only racing like 4 of them at a time around a very short course. And this guy, each time he named the pigs a specific thing. I don't even know if they were different pigs, honestly. I couldn't really tell. But he had these first 4 pigs, and he's called them, I don't know, whatever cute names. And then, he named them after singers. It was like Christina Squilulera or something, and like Lindsay Lohan. You know, really bad pig puns for the first set of 4. The second set of 4, he went for political jokes. He named one of them after Hillary Clinton, one of them after Donald Trump, one of them after fucking Nancy Pelosi, and the crowd is like, it's so odd because he clearly thought he was playing to the conservative crowd, but there's a lot of young people there as well who were just kind of like, ha 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 Just really awkward clapping. He's like, give it up for Donald Rump. Like, really odd shit.
What the fuck?
And then at the end, someone won. I can't remember exactly which of the pigs that he'd named after political figures won. And he was like, oh, but we'll have to redo it and check the count.
Oh my fucking god.
Like, absolute. That was our first experience of the amount of KKONA W that was about to be coming our way. We walked past a guy, the most KKONA thing that happened the entire time, though. We were walking past live infomercials.
What?
Just in the middle of like a food court, there were people just doing live infomercials of like you know, the blenders where people do infomercials and stuff, and like a vacuum cleaner. And there's people sat down watching the live infomercials, like enamored about them. I don't know why, but they were so engrossed in what these salespeople were saying. And one of them, a lot of them were just basic stuff that you'd see on TV. One of them is this old-looking dude talking to a group, probably about 10 people sat in front of him. And he's got a baking tray in his hands. And he goes, you won't find a baking tray like this anywhere else. Our engineers were so confident in how this baking tray has been made, they took it down the shooting range. This thing can stop a 9mm at 40 yards. And we're just walking past this absurd live infomercial where a guy's trying to sell baking trays off their efficacy at blocking 9mm. It's like
What the fuck?
unbelievable levels of KKONA. It was an extraordinarily fun trip.
It sounds good.
And the food was bonkers as well. There was like candied pickles covered in hot sauce and stuff. And like deep fried honey and all sorts of other really... I had a deep fried... what's it called? Charcuterie board. So there was deep fried olives and deep fried cheese and stuff. So strange.